Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. I know I've been away for a while, but I had to deal with some family stuff that was much more important than this. If you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat. I know I miss you guys. I really did. I really did. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you. All right, let's get going. So, how has everybody been doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm back. I don't know how long I'm going to be back, but I'm here now. Where do I begin? First of all, I want to say I appreciate everyone who has shown me kindness this last 3 years. Let's see, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 3.5 years. This has been a long time. In this time, I've lost my mother. My mother just passed away a month ago. And I lost my father in 2021. In the midst of all that, I lost both my parents during this time of dealing with this legal matter. My parents have passed away. I've had a TIA stroke from the stress of all this. I finished school. My youngest child finished high school. Got my oldest two in college. I've had some good days. I've had some bad days. All because of this. I got into doing vlogging because a friend of mine recommended that I do it. Said, Daryl, you're funny. You would do well with it. Give it a shot. You can have fun with it. So ain't nobody gonna pay no attention to me. And I said, okay, I'll try it. See what happens. And I said, okay. I had a channel that I let go. It's still up. Posted my comedy skits on. And then I said, well, I got into filmmaking. I said, let me create another channel just for the filmmaking. Started doing a little content. I had 500 subscribers. Wasn't monetized, just out here having fun. And then somebody recommended I check out this guy named Larry Reed. So I watched. He was entertaining a little bit, funny, messy little queen. So I said, I ain't thinking not much of it. And then he got sued by E. Dewey Smith. Judge Gwen, this is an open letter to you. There were things that you never got to hear. So I know the other side is listening. You don't have to worry about contacting the judge. I send him the link to this show. He's going to watch it for himself, or his law clerk, or whoever he has watching it on his behalf. So all your motions and all that, don't even worry about it. They got it. They're going to have a copy of this. So for those of you who don't know how we got to this point, I'm going to give you the backstory. And Judge Gwen's going to get the backstory too, because since we never made it out of the discovery phase with the trial between when Larry Reed sued me, he never got to hear or see any of this. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring him up to speed and bring you guys up to speed too. I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. Larry Reed is not going to stop lying. He's not going to stop harassing me. He views me as low-hanging fruit that he can harass. He hasn't sued Tasha K, who did a 4-part series about it. He sued the first accuser of him, but we'll stick a pin in that. He hasn't sued the 3 accusers that came on my show that accused him of child molestation. He didn't sue them. He sued the first one only after the first one was interviewed by Bishop Lamor Whitehead, who's suing him for $20 million, and Tasha K. That's when he decided to sue the first accuser, Levontre Andrews. But I'm gonna fill you in on the backstory. So, since he's not gonna stop harassing me, Judge Gwen, since he uses his lawyer to file these false motions and claiming that I'm making content about him and I'm not honoring the mediation terms of agreement, I want you to see a few things tonight. So here we go. All of this started when E. Dewey Smith sued Larry Reed. And this document started circulating the internet. This document. This is what this is basically a non-disclosure agreement between E. Dewey Smith and Larry Reed. So I'm just gonna sit it. I'm not gonna bore you with the details. Basically, he gave him money to shut up and go away, which was Larry Reed's method of operation when he deals with people in the church realm. He finds out dirt about them. He calls them. He said, look, I got this information. We need to talk. And what that basically we need to talk means is if you don't slide me a little something, I'm going to talk about it. And a lot of these preachers and these gospel artists, they can't have their name tarnished. So they'll give him a little something and he'll go on his merry way. But E. Dewey Smith, who's my fraternity brother, was very smart. He put the language in this agreement that Larry Reed couldn't talk about him and he couldn't talk about Larry publicly. And whoever violated the agreement owed the other person $250,000. He paid Larry Reed initially $10,000. Larry Reed thought he would get slick and have Conscious TV talk about E. Dewey Smith, but E. Dewey Smith got wind of it, sued Larry Reed. So Larry Reed lied and said that he didn't say anything, so he didn't owe him anything. So he went to court and he lost, but he told his people he won. So Larry said, well, I'll just get the money back and blah, blah, blah. So then he lied on the young lady that was on Real Housewives. He said, well, she kept $8,000. I only got $2,000. So she was like, oh, no, that's a lie. So I won't bore you with the language of the document, but there's a document. I'm not going to leave it up long. It's just a 2-page document. But I want to bring your attention to this last page, the signature page. You see that when E. Dewey Smith signed it, it says Dr. E. Dewey Smith because he has legitimate college degrees. Now, where Larry Reed signed it, it says Mr. Larry Reed. But Larry Reed likes to pretend and claim that he's Dr. Larry Reed. Why doesn't he have his signature as Dr. Larry Reed, just like Dr. E. Dewey Smith? Why? Because his degrees cannot be vetted through the clearinghouse. So let me take this off the screen so you can see me. So what happened? Phaedra Parks. He claims he fired Phaedra Parks and there was a conflict of interest because she represented him and E. Dewey Smith, whatever. So that's not why we're here. That document, when I got that in my hand, I reached out to Larry Reed privately. I sent him a private message offline. And I said, hey, is this true that you took a basically a bribe to go away. So he got offended. And he said to me, "Who are you to ask me anything?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. You don't have to answer my question. I was just coming to you privately because I didn't want to ask you in your group chat because I thought that would be disrespectful." So I let it go. I didn't care. I went about my way. The next day, he had went on my social media, pulled up who I was, put me on his platform, put the message up that I sent him, and he just lambasted me in front of all of his followers. So I said, "Oh, this is what you want to do? This is what you want? Okay, Judge Glenn, this is what I said to myself." I said, "Okay, this is what he wants." So I started investigating him. I started investigating his background, his nonprofits, all of that. I started investigating him. That's when I found out he hadn't paid taxes in about 5 or 6 years. I reported it to the IRS, told them they need to investigate. I told him about how he'll set up his nonprofit in North Carolina. And at the end of the year, when it was time to do the annual report, he wouldn't turn it in. So they would take his nonprofit status. Then he'd go to Georgia and set it up. Same thing, wait a year, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So there was no records. But what I did, Judge, I requested a copy of his Form 990. And as you know, anybody that has a nonprofit, anybody off the street, in the sky, anywhere, can walk up to you if you have a nonprofit and say, "Hey, let me see a copy of your 990. And by law, you must submit it. I've requested it 3 times from him. Other people that are over here have requested his 990. He has yet to supply anybody with that 990, but he still has that nonprofit. He's breaking the law. I was going to bring that out in your courtroom during discovery because he accused me of saying that he was a thief. I said, "I think he's a thief based on what I saw." And that was my opinion of him. It's a free country. I can tell you what I think. I can't say for a matter of fact, you're a thief, you're a thief. But I did have some evidence that would kind of lean to you to think a rational mind would deduce that he is doing some illegal activity. Didn't say nothing. So that was one thing. Then the PPP loan thing, which is what he mentioned in the lawsuit against me in your courtroom. I originally said Larry Reed was approved for a PPP loan of $79,700. I had the exact dollar amount. Why? Because I was talking to somebody that was worked at that place that gave the funds out. So I did a video. He said I was lying. He came out and said, "Well," and when I had the information, the date the money was given to him, what time of day the money was deposited in his account, and when the money was transferred from that account over to another account, and then the money was gone. Then he comes back and said, "Well, I was given the money, but I gave it back." The lady that I was speaking to, she said, "That's a lie. That money was never turned back in." I was going to bring that out in court, but we never got past the discovery phase because the plaintiff, Larry Darnell Reed, requested a mediation because he didn't want any of this information to ever see the light of day. He wanted me to shut up. He wanted to mute me so that I would never reveal what I knew about him to the public, because he knows that if we went to trial in your courtroom, Your Honor, all his secrets would be public record forever. And the only reason, Your Honor, that I agreed to the mediation, because something you said to me that stuck out day one when we did the video conference, because you didn't want to be bothered with either one of us. And you made that very obvious by your body language when you sat and you looked to the side. You didn't even make eye contact with the camera when you was talking to us. You did not want to be bothered. You told him, said, "Look, to sue this guy, it's going to cost you roughly $75,000. And to defend yourself against this guy, it's going to cost you $60,000 roughly. And I don't think either one of you have that kind of money or time. And if you did, you wouldn't want to waste it. I suggest you try to mediate the situation." That was paraphrasing what you said basically to us in a nutshell. Day one. So he figured he could bluff me or try to bully me because he had the financial backing of his supporters because right now to this day, I only have like 8,500 maybe on YouTube, and then a couple thousand on other platforms. Altogether about 10,000, 12,000 subscribers. I don't know. Because I do this for fun. This is not my main source of income like it is him. So I find it odd that a man that has over 100,000 subscribers is worried about what a man with under 10,000 YouTube subscribers would have to say about him. He went into a full-scale panic. Why? Even though I had a small following, people were starting to listen to me and share my videos, and the videos were going viral. It wasn't about the 3 accusers so much. It was about the fact that I was onto his money trail. And if I started reporting him to the IRS, which I did, and they have open cases where they're investigating him, he had to shut me down at all costs, Your Honor. That's why he hurried up and offered this mediation. Only reason I took it because I ran out of money. My daddy was dying, and I just didn't want to feel like fighting it anymore. And I took some bad advice from some people that are no longer my friends. Daryl, you need to just get this behind you. Come to find out, they were friends with the plaintiff. So they were in my ear, and I got rid of them. I regret it to this day, signing that mediation agreement, because he claims I didn't honor it, but he didn't honor it. So he'll get up, like when his lawyer submits those documents. My client hasn't said anything. Of course he didn't, because he hires other people to harass me. I have been harassed nonstop since the day the mediation got signed. Even before that, I was harassed to the point that I had to file a civil stalking and protection order here in the county where you and I live, in Cuyahoga County, against one of his employees and one of his associates. You never got to see that document. I tried to send it to you. I sent it to you in my last couple of responses. I'm not sure you even got a copy. But yeah, I mean, I was harassed to the point I had to get a court document that protects me for 3 years. And here's the number. There's the number right there, Your Honor. I am not lying. That's it right there. Davion Charles DeMille Augustus, aka Conscious TV, and Brian U. Henry II, doing business as Knockout Media. CV 22-964092. That's what I had to get to protect myself from them. They were calling my job. They called my elderly mother before she passed away, had her on social media, recording her without her permission. So I had to get a civil stalking protection order. They threatened my life, both of them. I went right down there. I have the civil stalking protection order right here in my hand. And it permits, it stops them. And it says, by preponderance of the evidence, they engage in a pattern of conduct that caused me to believe they would cause physical harm to me or my family and mental distress. I gave a narrative how I knew these people, because they were associated and affiliated with and employed by Larry Reed. This was while our mediation was going on, and after it as well. These people can't be within 500 feet of me. They can't say anything, and they violated, and I had to go back before the judge, because they violated it. You'll see some evidence of some of the stuff they did as it pertains to the plaintiff, Larry Reed, who keeps lying on me in your courtroom. So it's gotten very bad. One of them, Charles Augustus, is one of the people that had the fake murder plot that was mentioned in the document that's before your court. And I got a copy of that video. I had that video taken down with the police report that I filed and submitted to YouTube. And they kept playing it, saying I was going to put 2 bullets in Larry Reed's chest. That was a lie. A warrant for my arrest was never issued. No restraining order, none of that. So if I was going to murder this man, it would make common sense that instead of suing me in civil court, he'd went after me in criminal court. That never happened because the murder plot never happened. So if he lied about that, he's also lying about this. And I will show you in a little bit. Just sit tight, everybody. So I find it odd. The right-hand man of a preacher is this guy. An openly gay, effeminate man. But he's the right hand and a PR person for a minister. And look at what he says about himself. A prophet is not honored amongst his own. This man is openly gay, practices witchcraft and all that other stuff. But he's the right-hand man of a preacher. Stick a pin in that. I'm going somewhere, Your Honor. Just give me a little leeway. So he said I accuse him of being gay. Let's look at him. Let's listen to what he says. Let's look at it. I got a brother. I've never done that to my brother. That's his mentor, by the way. I've never done that. Now, we have a mediation agreement that states, see, nobody works for me, Your Honor. Nobody works for me over here. I'm self-contained. But this is just one example of the hundreds of content that's been made about me since the mediation by one of his associates. My picture is on this thumbnail without permission. I've turned it over to YouTube. This is a violation of the Civil Stalking Protection Order. This young man, Knockout Media, Brian U. Henry, who's an associate of the plaintiff, Larry Reed, and but he has my likeness on social media. So I'm in the process of trying to have him arrested. These are things you didn't get to see. I'm just going down the line here because I have all of this stuff that you need to see that you didn't get to see because the mediation came about. So, attorney, I can't even, I hope I say your name, Larry Reed's attorney. I don't fault you because you would be crazy not to take this man's money and file these motions. He's lying, but if he's willing to pay your retainer and pay for you to keep filing this stuff and you keep billing him, you'd be crazy not to take this money. It's free money. It's easy money. So this is nothing personal with you. Your client is a liar. And even you knew that his right-hand man, this guy, was crazy because you said this. And you thought you were sending it to your other attorneys and talking to Larry, but you had me included in the email that you said, but I blocked out your information. Where you said, this was not intended for you. Please delete it. You sent it out there. You were sending it from you. You were sending this to Olga, or you thought you were sending Olga, but you sent it directly to me. You were talking about Conscious TV. You said, this guy is out of his fucking mind. I'm watching. We have not filed anything yet and have not been served with anything that was filed by Middleton. That was my attorney at the time. That's what the plaintiff's attorney said about Conscious TV. And the date of that is December 21st, 2021. Right before Christmas. So that lets you know the mediation had already gone into play. We were in the process of signing that mediation. And Conscious TV was already out there in the public spaces, lambasting me and attacking me, talking about I'm going to prison. Judge Gwynn is going to send me to prison. He was saying all kinds of stuff. I downloaded the video. But that's what he said. Even Even the attorney for the plaintiff knew that Conscious TV was out of his fucking mind. That's what he said right there on the screen. Not me. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what the attorney for Larry Reed said about Conscious TV. Larry Reed's right-hand man, the openly gay guy that thinks he's a prophet, that practices numerology and witchcraft. This guy right here is the one, Your Honor, who's the right-hand man of Larry Reed. This is the one that's been harassing me from day one. This is him. This is him. This is the guy that called my job and was lying. This is him. This is the, mind you, Larry Reed in the court document said he's a gospel artist and a content creator, a minister, a pastor, a counselor, all these fluffy stuff that he put out there. But you're about to hear the real Larry Reed tonight in his own voice, Your Honor. You're about to hear his voice, him telling who he really is in his voice. Not me talking, him talking. So, yeah, this is his right-hand man. This is the person that is out in the public spaces on Larry Reed's behalf talking. This is him, a preacher. Larry Reed says he's a preacher and a gospel artist. Okay. So here we go. I want you to hear what Larry Reed has to say. This is the preacher, Your Honor. This is what he says. I want you to look at the kind of content he puts out. Here we go.
Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Come on, everybody say, y'all niggas ain't on my level. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Hey, y'all niggas ain't on my level.
He made this with his daughters in the video.
Y'all niggas ain't on my
Look at his children. Look how distraught they
You
are.
ain't living how we living. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Yeah. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. You eat that McDonald's, I'll eat that Root Chris. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Yeah, Lord. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. You got Cubans and corner Jesus diamond. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. No, you ain't. Y'all niggas ain't on my level. You driving that hoopty now. Y'all niggas ain't on my level.
Look at his
I'm
children.
driving my
Look
Benz,
at
my
his
road.
children.
My niggas ain't on my level. Bling, bling. Y'all niggas ain't on my level.
That's the preacher. That's the preacher.
Y'all niggas ain't on my level. Thank you, Jesus.
You stay low to
You did it. And you say hi to everybody.
I was going to say,
because I
preacher.
can't hold my nose. You should have been higher.
y'all niggas ain't.
My voice will crack if I. That was good.
That's the preacher, Your Honor. That's what I was going to enter into evidence when had we gone to trial. That was just one of them. It gets a lot worse though. This is what a preacher said. Now he's supposed to be a gospel artist, a counselor, a Christian counselor, a minister of a mega church, a world international church. His church had 50 members. But anyway, that's what he put in that court document when he was he was suing me. You never got to see that. I was bringing that on the hard drive to court, amongst other things. And people I was going to subpoena, stick a pin in that. Because I was going to subpoena his parents because they put him out as a teenager because they caught him doing something with somebody. And I was going to have them tell who that somebody was and what he was doing. And he couldn't have that in public record, amongst other things. But here we go. I got another video that I need you to see. And it's about 7 minutes. Y'all just sit tight. Your Honor, this is the plaintiff in his own words. Since I've known him since 2019, this is just a sample to give you a feel of who the plaintiff is. Here you go.
I understand if a pastor, leader, teacher ends up sleeping with a student or however. I understand that can get sticky. I get all of that. The situations that I've been in, you know, as a pastor, as a mentor, you know, I'm not proud of those situations, and I would never tell you. And if it ever came out, I probably would deny it. I ain't gonna tell no lie.
Luca, and T.S. Luca, we've been around each other by
This is
ourselves.
Tasha K's proof.
Have I had my dick
Shout out
sucked
to
by a
Tasha
nigga?
K.
I have. Have I sucked a nigga dick? I have. Even past my molestation and rape, I did that. But I do not identify as a gay man.
Attractive.
But an arm and a chest is an arm and a chest. I can see you not wanting a man with no titties.
It's because you don't like men.
I don't know. Let me
Look
think.
at the facial expressions of the people.
You know, I can't.
Cameron, lift up your shirt a little bit, like right here.
Oh no, that doesn't do anything for me. But that does not mean.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't do anything for you, but it does to people that are attracted to men.
But what if the men? But what if? I still ain't got that figured out. I
think it comes from like an evolutionary standpoint. I learned about this. Like, the more muscular a man is, it signifies that like he's like an alpha, and that's what people are like.
And here he is. I know a whole lot of. I know a whole lot of muscular chest going to gym men that's softer than you can. I mean, want to be.
I agree.
Wait, I think that he's talking about, like, I am attracted to Cameron because of his muscles, and I view him as an alpha.
Cameron, you got muscle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just got big arms.
Oh, he's muscular.
Let him. Anyway.
But too muscular is gross to me. Like those big old bodybuilder guys that like their straps touch their ears. That's disgusting to me.
I don't get it. It doesn't.
It's artistic to me. I actually like it because it's like.
I understand that if you just like to look, but sexually, how is that? How are you going to use it?
You hold on to it.
Oh, here we go.
Because you don't like men.
I'm not hating no time.
You cannot. I think it's improper for me to say you do not like men when I have plenty in the booty hole and in the mouth. So I don't think that's proper to say. Why y'all always get funny when I'm saying stuff? Y'all act like the people out there. I tell the truth. My transparency is not love. It's Marco. Wake up, Marco.
I'm not. I'm in pain.
He admitted it, Your Honor. I didn't say that.
I have been in pain all day long. I'm gonna tell y'all what I took.
Though, Your Honor.
You know, this is a closed
He's a drug
platform.
addict too.
I took 2 BCs, and I took
reefers.
about 4 or 5 different puffs on Junior's weed, and then I remember what Erica said. Erica said, make your head go away. I said, well, let's find out. And I can't feel it. I said, I don't know. That's how come my daughters.
It didn't help?
I can't feel it. I can't, when it comes to alcohol or weed, I don't know what it is. It's almost like I'm immune.
Probably,
doctors
you didn't
smoking the
inhale it,
reefers.
probably.
I did. I used to smoke cigarettes.
Your Honor?
I did.
Wait. You don't feel high, or you don't feel like it helped you at all?
I don't feel like it helped me at all.
This is in his Patreon. He hides behind the
We gotta get you some
Patreon
good
wall.
prescription meds. I got a good one.
I'm in California right now, so you can get the good stuff, but it's. I'm like, okay, and he over there act like he is so blessed, and I'm like, I know this is not working. He said, but you done smoke this on one puff. I don't know how to drag. It just did not work. I was like, this is pointless. I'll take this, and you spend $1,000 a month for this. This does not make no sense to me. But anyway, okay.
With you being a man who has been through these experiences,
his right hand man, look at him.
Where has that left your orientation? Because I know that
I'm Larry. My name is Larry Reed. My orientation is Larry Reed. I love everybody.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I was going to ask you, do all orientations go out of the window when all the lights go off?
Listen.
Oh, and I done told y'all that same joke. I stand by that joke. If we was in a Kojic church and we all praying and having a good time and the lights go out in a Kojic Church of Gays in Christ Church, Church of Gays in Christ's church, and somebody begin to sing in my mic,
Your Honor, this is him.
I'm gonna wait till they get to the end of the song. I don't care who it is.
I'm gonna let y'all deal with Larry about that.
I woke up to pain.
Look
and
at the title of the
that had
video,
never
Your
happened
Honor.
to me when I was getting molested. Now I'm talking about what happened to me. I'm a teenager now.
But it looks like he's talking
And so
about our lawsuit
I woke up
after
to
the
that.
mediation.
But things were so bad at home with my parents, and that even after that, they violated me. And I remember, because I didn't know what was happening, I remember I went to the bathroom and there was so much blood, it was black. And I remember calling my mom in there. His name. I never do that because it ain't it. I want to say the names of the other ones that was actually forcing me to eat their butt.
I want
you know what, Larry? You know what? Keep talking. Keep talking.
I'm telling you the truth. This is the truth. So I don't care. I mean, it's like I said in my family, like most of us, all of us was molested. I remember giving myself to.
Listen.
In North Carolina, Silver Caesar Church was known as the whole house for the gays of all types and kinds.
But I don't have a relationship with Bloomer.
Well, then create one, nigga. Such a bitch.
Well, I'm saying, why would you say I need to build a relationship with him? I'm not.
That's what I did with all of my accusers. I mean, it's part of the healing process.
So what
I'm talking about something that happened for long periods of time like this. With me, this is a one-off.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
You can get over that. Get over it. Go heal.
I understand if a pastor, leader, teacher ends up sleeping with a student or however. I understand that can get sticky. I get all of that. The situation that I've been in, as a pastor, as a mentor, I'm not proud of those situations, and I would never tell you. And if it ever came out, I probably would deny it. I ain't gonna tell no lie.
Your Honor, that's the plaintiff talking, not me. He's been saying this stuff all along, but when he comes before you with his attorney, he's this sweet little angel. And every time I listen to a video, I haven't created any videos, but he drags me back into your courtroom 4 times now, because I got to meet you and him on the 30th of this month, because his lawyers filed another motion saying that I'm making content about him. So I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. So if I don't say anything, he's still gonna lie. If I do say anything, he's gonna lie again. So I'm in a no-win situation. So what I figured I'm gonna do, since he's not gonna leave me alone, and he's gonna keep dragging me into court because he views me as low-hanging fruit. I have a small following, so he figured he can cherry pick and pick on me. He has not sued Tasha K. Tasha K has 1.5 million subscribers. She has the financial ability to fight him to the end. And that's why he will not sue her. She did a 4-part series about him, interviewed the first accuser that I interviewed 2 years ago, interviewed his mother and his brother. He has yet to file a cease and desist letter, let alone a lawsuit. He has not even filed a cease and desist letter against her. Why? Because he's a coward. Because he knows if he goes up against her, she got the financial backing to ruin him. Because she knows where all the bodies are buried. She knows where the bodies are buried. If you scroll up and you watch the replay laser reel, you'll understand why it never got to the judge. We never got to that point. Back to what I was talking about. So, Your Honor, that's the person that's been coming into your courtroom telling these salacious lies about me. He's the only, out of all of this stuff, I am the only one that got sued. I interviewed 3 people that came to me and said, hey, I want to tell you what Larry Reed did to me. I didn't say Larry Reed did anything. They told me what Larry Reed did to them. I gave them my platform for them to tell their story.
I never came out at any time and said, Larry Reed's guilty. I said, I believe he is based on what I've heard. And that is my right. I have never for a fact said he's a child molester. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But based on his track record and the credibility of the three people that accuse him, I believe them. And that's my right. It's a free country. Somebody, why am I a Mason? Because I want to be one. Next question. Anyway, let's keep the main thing in the chat, please. Back to what I was talking about. This guy has been lying in your courtroom, Your Honor. He's been lying repeatedly. He has harassed me. He has used his backing to harass me. And it's time to stop. And it has to stop. And if I can't get him to stop in the courts, I'm going to get him in the court of public opinion. Because the next time he files anything against me, I'm going to go to that television show, the producers of the television show, because I am a member of the Screen Actors Guild. And I'm going to ask, and I'm going to suggest that all of my acting friends and colleagues ask the same question. Why are you a faith-based show called Kingdom Business? Why do you have, as a member of your cast, a person that has been accused openly of child molestation by 3 people? Why is he on your show? And he's supposed to be a minister, but he's accused of child molestation. Does your program, does your network, does your production company support child molestation and pedophilia? Do your sponsors support child molestation and pedophilia? They're going to have to answer those questions. It's a free country. We just posing the questions. Because if he can go out here and lie, I should be able to go out here and tell the truth and ask questions. Have a nice day, Lisa Wilson. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. I don't have. Have a nice day. Anyway. I'm a Q. Anyway, I'm a Q and a Mason. So, back to what I was saying. The trick of the devil will not work tonight. I will not be distracted. So, I want you to hear something else. Your Honor, just a little piggyback off of that video you just saw. This is short.
My daughter's sitting right here. You need to hear this because people ain't gonna tell this. I'm eating out of the hands the dingleberries.
Larry, people gonna want you to wear a mask every time they meet you. Believe we don't need all the people now.
Listen, look. I said I'm a child, and then maybe do that. They would say, eat my egg, lick it. No, they would say lick it. And so that became, which actually made me develop a desire to eat, to toss salad with the guy that I was with that was older than my cousin, Lena. That became a thing we did. That's how I first penetrated him, because it became a world. It became a thing.
He said he penetrated somebody, but he said I was making false statements about him being gay. This is his mouth. This is not me talking. This is him talking. All I'm doing is playing what he said. But we never got to show you this, Your Honor, because he heard it when he knew I was bringing this to court, and when he knew I was going to subpoena his medical records from Raleigh, North Carolina, the ones that he don't want nobody to know about, because he said I accused him of having HIV. I didn't say that. One of the accusers said that about him, that he contracted HIV from Larry Reed. I didn't say that. The victim did. The accuser, alleged victim, said Larry Reed gave me HIV. I was a virgin when he assaulted me. I didn't say those things, but he sued me. He didn't sue that person. He sued me. But to prove my innocence in court, in your courtroom, Your Honor, I was going to subpoena those records because they tried to contact him by mail, phone, and personal visit to his house. And when they do those things, they document it. They record that. All the attempts they made to contact, because when a person contracts that disease, they say, well, who are your partners? Because they have to contact the person. Mysteriously, he relocated to Atlanta shortly thereafter. Stick a pin in that. We'll be back. So, here's a good one, though. Larry Reed said, let me go right here. This is also, Your Honor, after, shout out to King Payne, after the mediation. But he's out here in the public spaces discussing the lawsuits. I thought we wasn't supposed to discuss each other. But looks like he violated the mediation that he claims I violated. Go figure. This is all after December 2021. That was just two I pulled up. There are countless others. He loves to shoot off that big mouth of his. So remember when he said that it was a false police report and he put that in the language? Well, as you can see, Your Honor, this is a certified copy that I received from Detective Hubbard of the Raleigh Juvenile. He works in juvenile because the accuser was a juvenile at the time of the alleged incident. And I got a certified copy from the Raleigh Police Department emailed to me. And you see the crime, it says sex offense, forcible fondling. The address is 3216 on Lusty Drive. And remember, Your Honor, Larry Reed said I was lying on him. He even got on social media and said I was lying. And he even said the accuser was lying and said that he didn't live at that house at the time that the incident happened. Funny thing about, you and I know, Your Honor, because we're educated men. Funny thing about that, an attorney for the plaintiff, because you would graduate from law school. Funny thing about that, he doesn't know that because he only spent half a semester in college before he dropped out. Public records are just that, public records. So the house that's in that police report was built in 2006. It's a two-story house. The lot was 6,098 square feet. It gives a description of the house, how many bathrooms it had, such and such and such. But I want you to go down to the resident history. The people that were living in that house. Let us look. Resident history for 3216 on Lusty Drive, Raleigh, North Carolina. Who has lived there? Chamaco Bryant. Latrice Bryant, who's Chamaco Bryant's ex-wife, who's also the cousin of the plaintiff, Larry Darnell Reed of Larry Reed Live. Alisa Dunn, Larry Reed's ex-wife, because the house was in her name because Larry Reed, the plaintiff, Your Honor, has bad credit and he's filed bankruptcy multiple times. So everything that they purchased was purchased by his wife. That's why he kept her around. Even though he's obviously a gay man, because she eventually left him to marry a woman. So she was lesbian and he was gay. It was a marriage of appearances and convenience. They were each other's beards, as they say in LGBTQI community. They were each other's beards. They were each other's protection and covering for appearance's sake, because you can't have an openly gay man preaching and pastoring a church because people will walk away. You can be anything in the black church. You can be a murderer. But if Lord help you, if you're gay, Your Honor, that's just how it is. But I want you to look at that document. Vincent Buddha Hill lived in that house. Alisa Reed, that's Larry Reed's wife's name after they got married. Alisa Dunn is her maiden name. Larry Reed, the last person on the show that lived there. Their house was sold for $188,000. Public records. Your Honor, I have not been lying. That young man that said he got molested in that house, among other places he said he got molested, but he remembers that address because that's the address he put on the police report in Raleigh, North Carolina. They were the owners of that house when that incident happened. So if he lied about that, Your Honor, he's lying about everything. If he'll lie about that, because that's the crux of what he put in that lawsuit against me, that I was falsely accusing him of child molestation. I never accused him of any child molestation. I interviewed the people that were accusing him of child molestation, Your Honor. And I was prepared, had we gone forward in the court, in your courtroom, I was prepared to bring that man, Levontre Andrews, and the other two accusers into court because I was going to subpoena them. And when he saw that my attorney turned it over, that we was about to do that, he hurried up and I said, well, yeah, let's go and get this mediation because I just want to get this behind me. Of course you do, because you didn't want 3 people in open court as a matter of public record saying this is the guy that molested me, and then start telling what he did. Because when Levontre Andrews was interviewed by Tasha K, who has 1.5 million subscribers, he went into graphic detail about the sexual acts that him and Larry Reed took part in and what Larry Reed did to him or coerced him into doing for money. And I was prepared to bring him and the other 2 accusers into court, along with his parents, along with subpoena his bank statements, and that those medical records from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I was going to put that all into evidence because I was going to debunk every lie that he told in your courtroom. And he couldn't have that because he knows that if I'd have had the opportunity to present this evidence that I'm talking to you about right now, he would have been done. That's why he had to shut me up, Your Honor, at any cost. He did everything but offer me cash. The mediation served his purpose. He got me to take down my videos, not talk about him, and he won't talk about me. But in the meantime, his people were still harassing me night and day, to the point I had to buy more firearms to protect myself and my family. And I had to get a civil stalking protection order against one of his employees and one of his associates. And he has yet to stop them from harassing me. I had to go to the police and file a police report because they threatened my life and had my elderly mother on their platform, playing her and recording her without her permission. Put pictures of my house on the internet, my address on the internet, called my job, encouraged other people to call my job and make up lies. And all of that. And I got the documentation to prove I had a medical setback because of what they did to me. But he keeps repeating, oh, Your Honor, motion to enforce the mediation. I haven't made any new video content. This is a free country. What happened, Your Honor? He thought when he got the mediation and that I'd go away, and he started bullying people. And a lot of people did get scared. When he sued me, a lot of people got scared. They were covering his child molestation allegation. They got scared and they backed off. But then he got arrogant. Your Honor. And it was a preacher in New York by the name of Bishop Lamor Whitehead. And this man was preaching and he got robbed in his church on a Sunday morning at gunpoint and all that. And Larry Reed, the guy, they stole like $1 million worth of jewelry from this minister. The New York papers and the country would call him Reverend Bishop Bling Bling and all that, whatever. And Larry Reed took it upon himself to say, and I quote, he's in on it. He just did it for the insurance money. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So Bishop Whitehead got wind of it, filed a $20 million lawsuit against Larry Reed. Larry Reed, the plaintiff in your courtroom, just got served for a $20 million lawsuit because he was dodging it for months. He's in hiding for months. And finally, the lawyer for Bishop Whitehead petitioned the court to allow him to serve him via his attorney. And that's how he got served. The other defendant in that case is Demario Q Jive, calls himself King Jive. He's also being sued for $20 million. He's an associate of Larry. Larry, he's admitted that Larry pays him money to do certain things like harass me. And because he was one of the people that were over there harassing me on behalf of Larry. He's still in hiding for the $20 million lawsuit. So Bishop Whitehead sues him for $20 million for slander and defamation. The very same thing that he's accusing me of doing to him. Kind of it's hypocrisy. He getting sued for $20 million for doing the same thing that he accused me of doing to him. Your Honor, he needs to explain that to you. It would behoove him to stop filing these bogus motions via his attorney, because he's a liar. I have had enough. Both my parents are dead. I've had a stroke. I ain't, excuse me for the slang, Your Honor, but I ain't scared no more. I ain't never been scared, but I don't have nothing to lose. I'm tired, and I don't mind fighting now. What can happen to me? I mean, he continuously lies when I haven't done anything. He gets his boyfriend, Kendall Peacock, one of his boyfriends, one of his bedfellows, to sign affidavits knowing he's a liar. But he's paid to lie because he works for the liar. So at this point, if he bothers me again, Your Honor, I'm just going to be honest with you. If he bothers me again, because I've gone away. I wish I didn't ever have to say his name. I wish he would just vanish. A lot of people feel that way. I don't mean in a violent, bad way. Just go away. Nobody wants to be bothered with him. But if he bothers me again, every news media contact that I got in this country, I'm going to contact. Every news channel in Atlanta, every news channel in Charlotte, definitely everyone up here in Cleveland, they're going to find out. Because I have people that are close to me and college classmates, sorority members, fraternity members, Masonic members, Eastern Star members, film industry people, film producers, Screen Actor Guild members. They're going to want to hear about this. Because he's not going to stop. So I got to stop him, Your Honor. He's not going to stop. He's going to continue to lie and harass me, directly or indirect. He's going to come directly at me in your courtroom. He's indirect with these people. He got this, like in my chats, trying to ask stuff and harass me in my chats, making videos about me nonstop, day and night. He's got them doing the dirt work on the street, and he come at me in the courtroom. So I'm getting hit on every side. So since I'm getting hit on every side, I'm gonna let him know I can punch back. That's only, at this point, I've buried 2 parents in 2 years. I've had a stroke. I've had COVID. A man with nothing to lose is very dangerous. And I suggest he leave me alone. And I'm not threatening him. I'm going to do things by the numbers. I'm going to pick up this phone, Your Honor, and I'm just going to hit send. And I'm going to send out everything that I got on him. And he's going to have to answer. Since he wants to be famous, it's going to be a bunch of press people putting microphones in his face. Mr. Reed, would you care to speak to the allegation that the 3 people made about you molesting them when they were boys? And then that production company on that TV show he's in, they're going to call him in. They're going to be like, hey, you bad for business. I had a stroke behind this, Your Honor. I had a stroke. TIA stroke was what they call a mild stroke, but I had a stroke. I was already depressed about my father passing. I had a stroke. My brother had a stroke. Then my mother had a stroke. And my mother died. Not because of this, but she had a stroke. And she died. She had a stroke last year. She died February 5th. So that's why I haven't been responding to any of this nonsense, this motion that got emailed to me. Because I was burying my mother. And I'm of the mindset, no disrespect, Your Honor. At this point, I don't care about much or nothing. I lost my mother. I deal with this idiot when I come back. And that's what I did today. I sent a certified letter to you. I sent a certified response to his crap to your clerk of courts. I sent a certified copy to his attorney. And I sent you a letter with the link to this video so that you can have your clerk or you can watch it yourself. Enough is enough. I got the letter today saying that we got to have a video hearing on the 30th. If you take the time between now and that hearing on the 30th, you'll see what he's been doing. You'll see it. You'll see it. He's been lying to you all along, Your Honor. And he's been trying to bully and harass and intimidate me, which he can't do. And he thinks I'm low-hanging fruit. Ask him on the 30th when we come to court, why haven't you sued? Well, I'm going to tell you, he sued the first accuser after Bishop Lamor Whitehead interviewed him, because after I took all the videos down as you instructed, somebody got copies of them and sent them over to this guy. I don't know who, don't know how, because I got hacked. He got a copy of it. He started circulating, looking for the first accuser. He interviewed him. Then Tasha K picked it up and she interviewed him. Larry Reed has not sued Bishop Whitehead. Bishop Whitehead sued him for $20 million for slander and defamation of character. He has not sued Bishop Whitehead. He has not sued Tasha K, because both of those people are very wealthy and they have more money than him. Their pockets are deeper. He sued Levontre Andrews because he tried to bully and intimidate him like he thought he was bullying and intimidating me. But what he did not count on, Your Honor, Bishop Whitehead paid all the legal fees for Levontre Andrews. He filed, diversity of citizenship like he did in my case. He could have either filed in Atlanta or up here in Ohio. He filed up here because I'm going to tell you why he filed in your courtroom, Your Honor, and not in Georgia. Had he filed in Georgia, the press in Atlanta would have picked up on the case. He couldn't have that, so he figured he'd come all the way up here, sue me up here in your courtroom. But he filed in North Carolina against Levontre Andrews. Levontre Andrews does not live in North Carolina. Levontre Andrews responded to his lawsuit and said, I don't live here. This case should be dismissed. Larry Reed knew full well, because he served the young man's mother. This young man is married with a wife and living in Georgia. He knew that the case was going to get kicked out, but to save face with his subscribers, he's like, well, see, I told you I'm going to sue. I'm going to fight for my name, da-da-da-da. But see, he did that. It was just a PR move, because he knew as soon as he filed it, they were going to kick it out. Now, he sued me in your courtroom, Your Honor, just like that. He made sure all the paperwork was, all I's were dotted, all T's were crossed. Why he didn't do the same for this accuser? This is the person that actually said Larry Reed molested me. I didn't say it, but he couldn't get his paperwork right with that person, but he got it right with this guy. But he didn't count on Bishop Whitehead paying this guy's legal fees. So then he's like, uh-oh, this guy got money behind him. So then he requested the case be dismissed. And then his tail was between his legs, and people were like, well, why are you dismissing the case? He said he didn't, because his people started asking, why are you dismissing this case if this guy You say this guy's lying. So I said, well, I'm going to refile it, and it's going to be in the right courtroom, and da-da-da-da-da. That was last year. He still hasn't refiled, and it's March. We into March, going into April. He still hadn't refiled. It's been almost 4 or 5 months now. No, actually longer. 5.5 months. He hasn't filed yet. He's not going to. Because if he sues this guy in Georgia, both of them live in Georgia, it's going to be public record. All the local news media going to be there. Preacher sues victim that accuses him of molestation. He can't have that negative press. And see, since he's trying to be an actor now, and his production is shooting out there, that's bad press. He can't have that. So, here's the thing. Your Honor. When he realized that this first accuser had financial backing, he left that guy alone. He still ain't sued nobody but me. The accuser paperwork ain't been refiled in no court, nowhere, Your Honor. I looked. I was once a legal investigator. I looked, and I know where to look. He has not refiled, nor has he sued Tasha K. He picks with the low-hanging fruit in his eyes, me. He's messing with the low-hanging fruit. That's what he views me as. Low-hanging fruit with little to no money and little to no subscribers. But he never counted on this David slaying that Goliath. That's what happened. I was the little engine that could. Wasn't nobody out here talking about what he did. I found all that information. And when the mediation came, it kind of died down. But when he picked with Bishop Whitehead, he took the story, picked it back up, and then Tasha K got it. Now, because they've gone viral, this story's gone viral again, and a whole bunch of people out here talking about it. Now he want to drag me back in the court again and get his boyfriend to write this bogus affidavit for the second time, lying on the oath, saying that, oh, Daryl Moore is making content about Larry Reed. No, I'm not. I'm watching other people make content about Larry Reed and laughing. Because what he tried to do with the mediation and shut that story down, Pandora's box is open. And nothing he can do about it. It's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger because Tasha K has 1.5 million followers, Your Honor. And he can't handle that. His arm's too short to box with God. He can't fight her. She has more money, more subscribers. She will crush him in court. And all his dirty laundry gets aired out. His medical records. The stuff I just played, just tip of the iceberg. That's just to let you know who's in your courtroom, Your Honor. I've had enough of him. I'm imploring you to make this bastard go away. We should not have a mediation. I'm requesting that you throw it out. I've requested it 4 times that this mediation be dismissed and done away with. I've requested it 4 times. Every time I respond to his lies, that's the request I have. Every time. Thank you. I know y'all got my back. And I'm not backing off of him. I believe he did it. That's my opinion. I didn't say for a fact. I've never said for a fact, oh, he did it. I wasn't in the room. I don't know. I can only base my opinion on the credibility of him, which he has none, and those 3 young men. Which brings me to some other stuff. Here we go. So, in his response, Your Honor, when Larry Reed sued the first accuser, in his response, I want you to see a little something. Let me see if this is the right one. This is the crux of what Levontre Andrews said about Larry Reed, and he is yet to refile that lawsuit. Larry Reed is yet to refile it. Take a look. Mr. Reed abused me as a teenager, using his spiritual role to lure me into homosexual contact and acts with him when he was my pastor and spiritual mentor. Thankfully, I was able to escape Mr. Reed's deviant lifestyle and move on. That's what he put in his legal response to Larry Reed's initial lawsuit against him. That's what he said. And since when Larry Reed looked and saw that in that document in his response, he has not bothered that man again. I'm going to say it again. Let me read it to you again, Your Honor. Mr. Reed, this is Levontre Andrews, in his response to Larry Reed's lawsuit. Mr. Reed abused me as a teenager using his spiritual role to lure me into homosexual contact and acts with him when he was my pastor. He was under the age of 16, Your Honor, and spiritual mentor. Thankfully, I was able to escape Mr. Reed's deviant lifestyle and move on. It's right there for you to see. That's what the accuser said, not Daryl Moore. I didn't say that. The first accuser of the plaintiff, Larry Darnell Reed of Larry Reed Live, that's what he said about him, Your Honor. I didn't say that. He did. He did. This is the page 1. So, Your Honor, these is public documents. These is court records. This is where Larry Reed filed a lawsuit, knowing that the young man didn't live in North Carolina. This is it. And I got copies of the whole thing. And on the 30th, I'll submit them to you if you request to review them for your consideration. So this is all public records, Your Honor. I didn't do any snooping, it's all out there on the internet. He did that. He did that. Public records open for public discussion. I didn't. Oh, no, Glenn. Miss Douglas. Oh, no. Marcellus ain't never turned his back on me. Not one time. I'm going to say that publicly for the people in the back that have tried to come between me and Marcellus since day one. Marcellus is stuck closer than a brother to me, like a brother, blood brother. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm frustrated. Even he in a sound sleep, he'll pick up the phone and listen to me and talk to me and pray with me. All you people that keep trying to come between me and Marcellus, I want to say this again. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. That's my brother. And I love him. That's my brother. I'm going to say that again. That's my brother. We both bald head, so we might be some kin. We have to do our DNA, but that's my brother. But there were some people over here that betrayed my trust. And I will deal with them offline. After the 30th, when I deal with this court situation, Your Honor, this don't have nothing to do with you, but I didn't want to do this video, Your Honor. I've always been raised by my parents to have a sense of fair play. I'm like, if you play fair, eventually you'll win. If you tell the truth, Daryl, because there was a preacher in North Carolina that said, young man, as long as you tell the truth, God will protect you. The truth will be your shield. And I believe that. I still do. But this shield of mine has taken a beating. I haven't done anything to this man other than interview 3 people who said he, not me saying it, them saying it, that the plaintiff, Larry Reed, molested them when they were children. when they were young boys. I didn't say it. They did. But he didn't sue them. He sued me. He only sued the first accuser after the first accuser was interviewed by people with large platforms. That's the only reason he sued him. And then when that guy came out and said what he said, he backed up off of him too. And then when he realized that this young man, legal fees were being paid by the man who's also suing him for $20 million, he definitely backed up. But if Larry Reed bothers me again, Your Honor, at this point in my life, I'm 53. I'll be 54 this year in June. I buried both my parents in a 2-year span, 18 months to be exact. I'm looking over here on the other side of the room, my daddy's flag that was on his coffin with the round that they fired when they gave him a 21 gun salute. I'm looking at it, looking at a picture of my parents, the last picture they took when they were hugging and kissing on each other. And I'm looking at his dog tags over there hanging from that flag. I'm not worried about him and his lives anymore. I'm respectfully asking that you make this bastard go away and stop letting him use your courtroom to try to bully, harass, and intimidate people. Your courtroom and the other courtroom, send a clear message, Your Honor. Please send a clear message. He's been lying to you. And I hope that what I showed you tonight will give you some insight as to what we know he really is. We've known all along that he's a creep. He's a liar and a creep and a false prophet. He's bogus. He's bogus. But when he comes into court, he had these long things. Oh, I'm a gospel artist and social media guru, whatever. I'm just making stuff up. Because all of it's a lie. He had a 50-member church in North Carolina. Most Sundays, there was 25 people there. The young man that he sued, that was the first accuser, was the drummer in his church. A guy that he first said he didn't even know. How can you not know the drummer that's behind you every Sunday, less than 6 feet away from you? A drummer that lived in your house. Just something to think about. He lied. He lied about, he was lying then, he's lying now. My hands are clean, Your Honor. Only thing I did was interview 3 people. And what did it cost me? Everything. My peace. That's why I walked away. It cost me my peace, my health. Set me on edge because every time I walk out this door, I got a gun on me. Because I'm a licensed gun owner, but I'm not knowing because this guy, I don't think he'll do nothing, but he has people that are dumb enough because he's a cult leader. Tasha K interviewed, the young man said his church is nothing but a cult. So he brainwashes people. And one of these people thinking they're doing God's will, try to come up here and try to hurt me or my family, then I have to protect myself. I have that right. You know, we are in Ohio. We're a very 2A friendly state, a red state. Very Second Amendment up here. So they get what they get. That's why I filed police reports. So that in the case that I had to do something, I had a legal right to protect myself. And I covered my bases. I'm not going to belabor the issue, Your Honor. He needs to be, a stop needs to be put to all this, all these motions and motion to make me do something. First of all, I haven't done anything. All I've done is sit back like this. Because when Tasha K interviewed him, when Bishop Whitehead interviewed him, people started apologizing to me like, Daryl, you've been right all along. And I was vindicated. He used his financial backing of his cult members to pay legal fees and live his lavish lifestyle. And I exposed him. And he couldn't handle it. When I started dropping the word IRS, when I turned him into the SEC because he was giving people stock tips and he's not a stockbroker, when he claimed he didn't receive the PPP loan, and I came out and I said, this is how much it was. This is the date and the time that the money was deposited into his bank account. This is the date and the time that the money was transferred from that bank account to another. Then from there, gone. Then he couldn't lie. So he had to come back and say, well, I got the money, but I gave it back. Then I came back again with the information that, no, that money was never returned. Mind you also, Your Honor, the Social Security number that he used to get that money, it's been flagged by the IRS because multiple people have used that same Social Security number, and it's under investigation. I have no reason to lie on this man. What do I gain by lying on him? I have never met this man. The first time I saw him face to face, Your Honor, so be face to face, was when we were doing the video court on your Zoom. That was the first time I'd actually interacted with this man, because all the other interactions were text messages and emails. I've never been in the same room with this man. He's supposed to be this big time celebrity. Why is he worrying about what a guy with less than 10,000 subscribers got to say? Why? Because I was telling the truth, and the truth was setting me free and protecting me from him. That's why. I was telling the truth, and it was whooping him. It was costing him money. The lie, remember now, in the document that he submitted to your courtroom, he said that he makes $79,000 a month. And no, he said I was costing him $79,000 a month because of the lies I was telling on him. Cost him $79,000 a month. Mind you, when he went to the court with Levontre Andrews, when he filed a lawsuit against Levontre Andrews, Your Honor, he said he was only making $30-some thousand a month. And out of that $30,000, he has to pay his staff. But he lives in a house that's rented, a mansion, for $20,000 a month. He's got a leased car, a Rolls Royce. He got an Audi SUV red, a white Mercedes. But none of that stuff is in his name because he got bad credit. So who puts it in? Whose name is it all in? So when I was coming to be in your courtroom before the mediation, I was going to put all that on the table because he said that I called him a thief. I was going to show that he has some unethical business practices, and he was going to have, and I was going to subpoena his financial records because I'm the accused. I have a right to put forth a vigorous defense. So all of that was going to come into play: his financial records, his medical records, because he said I accused him of giving somebody HIV. I never did that. That victim did. All that was going to come. His mother being subpoenaed, his father being subpoenaed. Because they put him out when he was 15. They caught him in the act of doing something that I was going to have them explain to you, because it goes to his credibility. Because he used to be a pastor of a church. Well, he was a director of music, whatever. And Chamaco Bryant's daddy, his right-hand man, or one of his concubines that was in that Niggas Ain't On My Level video, Daddy was the pastor. Daddy was having an affair. Larry found out about it, tried to blackmail him, said, I'm going to go before the church. The scandal broke. The man's wife and him got a divorce. They made him step down because he was an apostolic preacher. They had a mediation. They allowed him to step down. He could never pastor a church again. And then Chamaco Bryant left and turned on his own father to follow Larry Reed. They've been together ever since. Now, Chamaco and his daddy have since reconciled, but he has nothing for Larry. But here's the kicker, though, Your Honor. When Larry Reed's parents kicked him out the house after they caught him in the act, guess whose house he was living in? Chamaco Bryant's, with his Chamaco Bryant's family. And when the scandal broke, they had nowhere to go. So when his own parents kicked him out, he went to stay with the man who he later turned his back on. That man. This is the credibility of that person. And I was prepared to bring forth, there were people in that church from back in that day. I was going to bring them forth because he says he's not gay. I was going to bring forth because when the mediation happened, there were people that came forward that said that they knew because he was thinking that once they made him step down, that he was going to be pushed up to pastor. They were like, no, he's been gay. Because it was common knowledge in that little town. You know how small towns are. Goldsboro, North Carolina. I'm from Fayetteville, so right up the road. And Larry's from Pikesville, a little tobacco town. But anyway, there were people that came forward that said he's been gay for a long time because it was common knowledge in that town and that he was messing with boys in the choir. Well, he was a teenager himself. Because I was going to also bring forth this guy named Tiz, who allegedly was Larry's lover every morning before school under the bleachers. And he was a football player. I found him because when I went looking into that town, there were people that don't like him. So they were freely telling me everything. And I was just going to bring it all out in the court. But he got his mediation, Your Honor. So I didn't get to do all that. But then had he left me alone and had his people leave me alone, I would have left him alone too. But they kept harassing me. And he kept filing these bogus motions saying that I was violating the mediation. And I wasn't. So now you know everything. Well, you know some of the main stuff. There's more to come. Because if he keeps bothering me, and that's not a threat, I have a right to defend myself from being slandered and harassed. I have a right. I've honored my end of the deal. He didn't. He let his employees and his people come after me night and day. And he didn't do nothing about it. But when I fought back, then he would drag me back before you in your courtroom saying I violated mediation. But he was over here having his people harass me night and day. His employees, which is stated, since he likes to state the mediation, his employees and associates cannot bother me, and I can't bother his family, associates, or employees. That goes from, since I work by myself, he can't bother me or my family. And none of his people can bother me or my family. But they have done it night and day. I've shown you just thumbnails with my picture on it. I got a civil stalking protection order in this county that you and I both live in. Because one of his employees and one of his associates harassed me to the point that they threatened my life and put pictures of my home on the internet. Had my elderly mother on the internet. So that's it, Your Honor. I'll be there on the 30th, bright and early. But between now and then, watch this video. Watch it several times. Get it together. Get it in your head. This is who Larry Reed is. This is who Larry Reed is, Your Honor. He's been lying to you. I don't know if his lawyer knew that. His lawyer had to know because, yeah, because his lawyer got they got people over there because they have experts and whatnot. So his own lawyer talked about his employee. This guy is out of his effing mind. I'm watching. We have not filed anything yet and have not been served with anything that was filed by Middleton. That was my attorney at the time. Larry Reed's own attorney said this about his employee. This guy is out of his fucking mind. I'm watching. That's what he said about Conscious TV. So, yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. And it's time that somebody stop that. Stop him from lying. Stop him from lying. Stop him from lying on people. Now, He has a little song that he made called Cease and Desist Letters Are for Punks. It's right along the lines with y'all niggas ain't on my level, so I'm not even going to insult you and waste your time, Your Honor. But he did that. He did that, Your Honor. He did that. Mm-hmm. He said it. This is plain. I understand. He did. I played it for you. In his words, not mine. I rest my case, Your Honor. And all of you that are in the chat, the 300 and so of you that are here, I thank you. And you should get the letter by tomorrow, Your Honor, or before St. Patrick's Day, with the link to this video. So the Bush people, the people in the bushes, attorney for the plaintiff, you ain't got to worry about sending the judge this video. I sent this video to the judge. He has the link in a letter, certified. I don't hide over here. I don't have nothing to hide. Nothing in my hands. I haven't done anything but stay out the way and watch other people drag Larry Reed through the dirt. And he deserves it. Your Honor, well, if I come to court on the 30th, I'm going to play some of the interview that Levante gave with Tasha K and let him tell you what Larry Reed did to him in his own words. And then you measure out who you believe, Larry Reed or that guy. And if you believe that guy, then you also should believe me, because all I did was interview the guy. That guy pointed the finger at the plaintiff, not me. But I'm the only one that was sued. And on that note, I'll see you on the 30th, Your Honor. The defense rests. Y'all have a good night. Justice for Levante Andrews and all of the accusers.